Here in Brookhaven, there are several cars on the right, but what you don't know is that there are cars that have been completely removed. And today, I want to see all the cars that have been removed from Brookhaven that you didn't notice. To do that, I called my friend to test this too, and he said in the chat, "Let's go! I want to see the first car." So, the first car is related to the hospital in the game, because, for those who don't know, the first car that was removed was in that location. I need to go up here, and for those who don't know, here at the hospital, we have a lot of things. The reception area, the x-ray room, and also the medications. But what you don't know is that there's something here that was completely removed. I'm talking about this ambulance on the right. It looks exactly like this now, but this isn't the first version. In fact, it's the new version of the car that was released in the game. My friend said in the chat what it used to look like back then. It was very simple, just like this. You can see it's simpler. And indeed, this is the old version of the ambulance. It has fewer details than the ambulance we have today. It looks something like this. The interior is quite simple, and the current ambulance looks exactly like this. And besides being more detailed, you can also open this back part, which is very interesting. And people can enter here to accompany those who had an accident. Anyway, it's just very complete. You can close the door and take patients wherever I want by activating maximum speed, turbo 3, and also the siren. And back then, this was much simpler. I don't know if I'll be able to drive this car, but there's only one way to find out. I'm getting in here, and indeed I can drive. And as you can see, it's very slow, and the interior is also simpler. In fact, it has a window that is very buggy, while the windows of the current ambulance are just incredible. I said in the chat, which version do you prefer? I want to see which version my friend prefers. Likewise, I even opened this back part for him to get out, and he said in the chat that this version is better. I agree, it's simply better. In fact, this car has some versions that look like it. On the right, you can see we have this bank vehicle. When parked, it looks quite a bit like an ambulance. In fact, the two are almost identical. There's very little difference between them, almost none. And there are also these postal vehicles on the right that look a little, or maybe is not very much. This car doesn't look like the postal one, but the ambulance looks like this other one. He said in the chat, very similar, but what's the next removed car? So, the next removed car, I'm going to look at now. For those who don't know, on the right there's a Halloween car. It's exactly this one, but many people didn't know that this car has a version that was completely removed. And he said in the chat, what do you mean by that? This is the only version of this car. Dude, actually, no. This car has another version that is simply different. Guys, but there's a car here at the beginning that is just very small. But guys, it came here from the side, and actually, it went up front, and he just got out of the car and said in the chat, I want to race you. Wait, is he serious? He wants to race me in that small car he has. Dude, I think he's going to lose. I not only think so, but I'm sure of it. He just got out of here in a really weird way. I'm sure he's going to lose, but even so, I'm going to go for it because I want to prove to him that I will actually win this. Guys, he's right there, and I'm ready to beat him, but the car is a bit weird because it's facing backwards, not forwards, and it seems like he started counting in the chat, and now it started. Alright, I'm going here, and his car is strangely fast, but I've already won against him. In fact, he crashed back there, and I won by a landslide. While he's coming back here trying to beat me, unfortunately, he won't. Wait, maybe he will. Perfect, I won the race, and there's no way he's going to win this. So much so that he just arrived and realized he had lost. And he said in the chat, you're lucky I'm having a bad day. And what does that have to do with anything? I didn't really understand why he said that, but okay. He put the money in his hand and gave it to my friend, who was also a bit confused and sent this question mark. He doesn't understand why he did that. He said in the chat, goodbye, and it seems like he's going to leave. I didn't understand why he did that. He just left after giving a lot of money to the player, and then he disappeared. But let's see the next car that was removed. He said in the chat, actually, it's this car. True, I had forgotten. Let's see how the old version of this car was. For those who don't know, this car on the right wins at Halloween events. And there's also this other version, which is for VIPs. And picking them up, they're the same thing, literally the same thing. And comparing the two side by side, you can see it's the same thing. But it hasn't always been like this because we have this other version, which actually didn't have candies. This one has lots of candies, while this one has nothing. I mean, there's one candy here, but just one. And going into it, you can see that everything here is almost the same. I think I can't drive it. Even if I try, I won't be able to. Unfortunately, I'll try again. I think this time I'll manage. Perfect, I managed to get in here. And unfortunately, I can't drive the car. It basically doesn't move, but it looked exactly like this back then. A little different from the version we have today. By the way, for those who don't know, if I take any car on the right, like this one, and change its color to anything, it will look exactly like this. But if I delete the car and take it again, it spawns with the correct color, the same one I set before. But taking this car on the right, changing its color, and if I delete it and now go to the VIP cars and take the same car, it won't spawn with the color I saved. In other words, it's as if the two cars are different versions. And he said, what do you mean? I don't understand. Look, basically, this car on the right is Halloween themed, and this other one on the right is also Halloween themed. They're basically different cars. Even though they are the same thing, they are different, but they are equal at the same time. He said in the chat, that's weird, but what about the next car? Look, I'm going to show it now. And for those who don't know, the next car has something about this car on the right that was released. For those who don't know, this car is a new version of a car that was completely removed from Brookhaven. And I'm even seeing you here in front at the other pier we have in the game. Exactly this one. Alright, I've arrived here, and my friend passed right by. But here on the right, we have the FBI car, which looks exactly like this, and is very nice. But what many people don't know is that this car used to be different. I want you to pay attention here to the car's headlights. You can see that it looks exactly like this. Now, in its older version, it looked exactly like this. The headlight was simply very large, unlike what we have today, where the headlight is just very small. You can even see that this headlight was just deactivated. It's as if it's still here, but it was modified to look like it's not there. But aside from that, not much has changed about the car. No, it's basically the same as its old version. Only this lower part has changed. You can see that in the new version, we have this line under the car, which in the old version, we don't have. And as an additional detail that this car got, the back of it is just like its old version, and the front seems to have changed a bit. Exactly here. He said in the chat, wait, did it really change or not? Look, it basically seems like it changed because this here is the front of the car, and this here is from the old version. I can't say if anything really changed, but it seems like it did. I'm going to drive it. But guys, by pressing this button here has other secret versions, like this one or even this other one here. In fact, these two cars are basically the same thing. There's almost no difference between them. He said in the chat, let's race to see if there's any difference. True, let's do that. I'm going back here to do this race, and it seems like he's come back here too. Okay, we're ready here to start. So as soon as he starts to accelerate, I'm going to start too. Alright, he started. I'm coming up here too. Guys, I think I'm going to lose, or maybe not, because he crashed into that part and just flew out. And here I managed to win. In fact, I won in the best way possible. But I said in the chat, where are you? He said in the chat, I need help. I'm at the skate park. Okay, guys, I'm running over to help him. I'm arriving exactly at this part on the right where we have the skate park, and it looks like he had an accident right here. But I don't know how he ended up here, because the direction he should have followed was exactly this way. But somehow he ended up over here. I said in the chat, how did you get here? Because this path he took to get here is very strange. In fact, this car is completely destroyed. He said in the chat, I don't know. Okay, guys, I'm going to get this car out of here so I can fix it. And he even came inside. But guys, the next car is probably one of the best of all. And to test this car, I'm coming up here. Wait, what's that? There's a car next to me that has just a lot of engines. It's a building of engines. In fact, a friend made this. He said in the chat, this is the fastest car in the game. I highly doubt that, because having multiple engines doesn't make it faster, guys. But he got in here, and I'm coming in too because I want to see if this is true. And my friend took my car and left, but I want to see if what he said is true. It looks like he put a ladder here in front. I just don't understand why he did that, but he secured his car right here, which is something I didn't know was possible. And now he's accelerating here as much as possible. Okay, this is a bit strange. He removed the ladder, and as he started accelerating up front, he did it at a very high speed. He said in the chat, wait, that didn't work. That didn't work? I thought it had worked, but it seems like it didn't. He put a ladder back here, and it looks like he's going to try this again. And I want to see if this will work before I show you the next car that was removed from Brookhaven. Okay, he's coming back here to try to do this bug. He got out of the car and placed the ladder here differently. Okay, this time there's no mistake. I think it's really going to work. He's accelerating here as much as he can. And as soon as he releases that ladder, I'm sure this bug is going to work. He's accelerating here, and he crashed, but he's still coming back here. Guys, this is actually very fast. I said in the chat, I know a better car to do this, and I'm serious. I'm going to grab a monster truck on the right, exactly this one, because this car can do a bug to fly. And soon, I'm going to show you the next car that was removed from Brookhaven that you didn't notice. But guys, I'm coming up here, and this car is the fastest in the game. But to make this work, I have to get to the edge, exactly here. Perfect, I've arrived here, and now I'm going to have to accelerate hard from the back. He said in the chat, I doubt this will work. Just watch, it's going to work. I'm going back here with everything, and now it's just about flying out, exactly at this point. That didn't work. Okay, I'm testing this again. Okay, now I'm coming back here quickly, and I'm going to come in at the last second. Perfect, it worked. I'm here with super speed, just a lot of speed. He said in the chat, wow, that's amazing. It really is very cool. But guys, for those who don't know, the next car that was removed has a lot of doubt about whether it was really removed, but it's exactly this Ferrari on the right because it's a very beautiful car that is indeed very elegant and also very fast. But there's an older version of it that you've probably never seen before. But first, I'm going to modify this car. I'm going to make it red, lower its suspension, and change the tires. Perfect. Now this car looks just amazing. But for those who don't know, its old version is exactly this one. It's a more modified version, and I'm not sure if it's really an older version, but you can see that it's very different. There are indeed some differences in this part, where you can see that here in the game, it's a bit different. The top here used to be closed, and in the game now, it's open, and the headlight looks exactly like this. The only problem is that I can't drive this car, so I don't know if it's really true that this car is the older version of this Ferrari. He said in the chat, I think maybe it is because possibly the owner of the game made two versions of this car. So, that's true! Maybe that really happened, where we have this version of the car with an open top and another version with a closed top. It's definitely something that could happen. But another thing that was removed from the game, and you didn't notice, is that here we have several helicopters coming to pick them up and going inside. You can see that this helicopter has several versions. There are several here on the left that you can't see, including police, rescue, rich, military, military, the agency, the sheriff, and also the guard. And they're all very nice. But pay attention to this. You can see that it looks exactly like this. And it also has this money symbol. But for those who don't know, there's a secret version of this helicopter that you've definitely never seen before. I'm going to have to go to this mansion and grab a specific house, which is this president's house. On the right, you can see that this house is very complete and has a lot of interesting things. But back here, we have a helicopter that was removed from the game because you can tell it doesn't have a money symbol. In other words, it's a secret version of the helicopter that you've definitely never seen before, which is actually here in this president's house. But it also has it in this other house on the right. And to get it, for those who don't know, I'll have to go up here. And exactly at this point, you can grab that helicopter right here. It also doesn't have the money symbol, so it's another secret version of the helicopter that you've never seen before. He said in the chat that there are some secret helicopters in the game too, like the UFO. Yeah, that's true. We have this secret version of the helicopter that was released in the last update, but it was completely removed to bring back the old helicopter. And there's also another version, which is exactly this one, as you can see. It's a special Christmas vehicle that will only return this Christmas. In other words, it will take a while. And if you want to add me here on Roblox, just click the member button, and I'll add you here on Roblox.